Live from the Echo Network studios here in downtown Royal Oak, Michigan, we are Odd Musings. I'm your host, Brett Pinson.
And I'm Scott Zambelli.
Also your host today. This is our second chance at this. We had some technical gaps going on. Those who are watching on Facebook Live know about it. Those that don't, well, guess what? You now do. And so we're here in the network. We're having a great time, and we've been chatting before the show. If you're not watching the live stream on the Facebook Live, you really should. I think we have a good time before that. And you get to take a look at us and our handsome faces.
Yes.
So, Scott, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. Summer's here.
Yeah, we've had some 90-degree heat.
Yeah. We in Michigan, we complain about how cold it is, and then from there we go to complain about it's too hot.
Yeah.
About a week later.
I really don't. Well, it's too cold, but I try not to complain about it too much. The only thing that bothers me is wintertime with the ice and having to drive somewhere, and then I'm like, man, I don't want to drive because I'm the one who knows how to drive.
Yeah, it's the... I don't mind Michigan winters. It's the ice, like you said. I just needed to figure out how to snow on the grass and leave the sidewalks and roads clear, and then we'll be good.
Yeah, exactly. That works for me.
Same when I do my running. I don't want to step on ice when I run. So, so all I want is roads and sidewalks.
But the cool thing is you really don't have to go anywhere on ice. You can just run in place on the ice and not really go anywhere.
It's like a natural treadmill.
There you go.
It's like the Scooby-Doo cartoons where they're running in place.
Yeah.
Feet are... How do they do that when they run on the air? I never understood that one.
They're cartoons.
Oh. Okay.
You don't have to understand the physics in this cartoon.
It's like gravity only worked once they realized they were in the air.
Right. It's well, look at the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. He didn't fall until he looked down and went, uh-oh. He fell down and boom.
Boom.
And that stuff, so, yeah.
So, any fun stuff this weekend for you? What have you been up to?
I had a good weekend. On Sunday, Connie, the Comic-Con mom, myself, and my cousin Cindy, we went down to Toledo. We do the season pass down there for their Broadway in Toledo. And we saw Kinky Boots. It was the last musical for our series this year. And we've seen some great shows this year. This was by far the one I had the most fun with. And I really enjoyed it. I liked the movie from years ago. I always butcher the guy's name. It's Chiwetel Ejiofor, I believe is how you pronounce it. He was also the bad guy in Serenity. He was in 12 Years a Slave. I believe he won the Oscar for that. But this is when I first got to know him a little bit as an actor. Seeing the movie was Kinky Boots about 10, 12 years ago when I first saw it.
And he was also in Doctor Strange.
Yes.
He was a good guy at the start. He was like Doctor Strange's right-hand main friend in the mystic world, and then he became disillusioned by the events. So,
right.
Yeah. So
he's a fantastic actor, and if you've not seen Kinky Boots, he plays. It's basically a drag queen. That's what they call themselves that. So, and the premise of the movie is it's set in Northampton, England, and London, England, and the shoe factory is basically not making any money because people are not buying the high quality shoes; they're buying the cheap imports. Which is the movie's and the play is based on an actual article written in the late '90s. And there was a shoe factory that decided, hey, we can make these boots for basically men that want to dress as women. And they got to make the heels sturdy enough to handle the frame of a man. Men are definitely heavier than women in a lot of instances, and we break the heels. I guess I've never worn heels, so I don't know. But that was the premise of it. It became this movie, Kinky Boots, and it's a bit of a comedy. It deals with learning about people that are different and accepting people for who they are in a lot of ways. And I'm not going to get too much into that. It's just got some fun moments, stuff like that, and. The musical itself, it took that story and made it a stage production with music by Cyndi Lauper, who I really enjoy her music over the years, and she did a great job. Nothing from her past is in this; it's all brand new songs. So when you go see this, you're not going to be hearing Time After Time or Girls Just Want to Have Fun or anything like that.
Right.
But the sound melodies are distinctly Cyndi Lauper.
They're not sung by her, correct?
It's sung by the stage actors,
right.
Yes, and they have songs that. She wrote for the character of Lola, who is one of the main leads, and for the stage productions they show for when she's on stage as the drag queens, and then her angels, as she calls them. So they have their own songs, which is neat, as well as songs that move the story forward like musicals do.
Right.
So, but we had a great time, all three of us. Really enjoyed it, laughed a lot. We talked about the fact that Wayne Brady had played the role of Lola last year. I saw on Broadway. Loved to have seen him because I'm a big Wayne Brady fan. And if I ever get a chance to see that and I got the money, I'm definitely going to go see him do that again.
Oh, I love Wayne Brady. I think many of us, from Whose Line.
Whose Line is anyways.
Where we know him from, but even he's the host on Price is Right?
No. He does the Let's Make a Deal.
Let's Make a Deal.
Which when I'm home in the mornings, we'll talk about the fact that we work from home.
He's fun.
I enjoy it because he does a lot of improv on it.
Right.
It's funny is on the show I had a former teacher of mine I saw was on the show a few years ago.
Oh, really?
Mr. Ricky Ross. He was one of my favorite teachers / counselor / principal.
Ricky Ross sounds like a character from the Will Ferrell movie, Billy Bobby or
Oh, Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
No, Mr. Ross is awesome. One of the things he had a great voice. He used to do some of the Star Spangled Banner for like the Pistons and different sporting events in the area. And finding out there's a local restaurant near me that he's actually popped in and done some singing. I'd like to pitch that a few times. He's been retired for a few years, and he's always a great guy. Because as I say on him is, I ran into him after I graduated high school. Right after I was at the airport flying out to go do registration for the college I was going to, and he's in there. He goes, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm ready to go register for college." I gotta go sign up. Gotta do my orientation and that. Mm-hmm. And he was always someone very encouraging of myself, my sister, my brother, my family. And whenever you see him, it's like no time has passed. He's one of those guys I truly like. And to see him on Let's Make a Deal was great. And Wayne Brady missed the chance to actually sing with him because he got asked to do the big deal. And he ended up winning a trip, which was pretty cool.
Very cool.
And but I was sitting there, he goes, "What do you think?" He's like, "Big deal, big deal, big deal." And Wayne didn't sing with him. I'm like, "Come on, Wayne, you're missing a great opportunity. This is a legend in the Ypsilanti, Michigan community." So
he missed his boat.
Yeah,
I'm sure he regrets it to this day.
He does. So that's what I did a little bit there.
And so you mentioned you saw Wayne Brady in a play. Have you seen a lot of plays?
I see. Well, we have the series that we do down in Toledo, and I like to go to a lot of plays and musicals. This year, like for our big ones, we saw The Phantom of the Opera. We saw Pippin, which I got to answer that Pippin was not my favorite. It was a good production. The storyline is basically Faust, and the way it goes, I just wasn't enjoying it that much.
It's not about Scottie Pippen with the Chicago Bulls?
No, that would have been fun. Yeah, they should do that and make Scottie Pippen the winner and change everything. Get rid of Michael Jordan. He didn't do anything. It was all Scottie Pippen.
It'd be cool to do is, if you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to us, you can see our movie reviews we do. But it'd be cool if you did some play reviews too.
I think I'll start doing that.
Because I think that I know for myself that's something I've always been interested in, but I've never gotten around to actually going to a live play. I've seen small productions.
I do, besides the bigger productions, I go to high school ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a few in my area. One I did the last 4 years is I have this really great friend, Kathy, out in Oakmont, Pennsylvania. And I'm a big fan of her daughter. Her daughter, Mia, graduated high school this year. Just like your daughter, actually. We'll talk about that too today. And Mia is autistic, but she's awesome. And I don't say but she's awesome, but she is awesome. And she's one of those kids that she knows she's got something going on, and she says, "I'm not going to let it hold me back." And she's worked hard to become this awesome individual. She's going to college in the fall. She got a scholarship. But every year, I always made a point to drive out and see her in her school musical. And they do a great job there in Oakmont, Pennsylvania, at the local high school there. And some of the productions, the first year I went, they did Fiddler on the Roof, and it was as good in terms of the quality of the actors, even the stage production for a small high school, as good as any professional one out there. So they're a top-notch school in that, and to see Mia perform all 4 years was a big deal for me, and I enjoy stuff like it. So I like it from the high school level, I like it all the way up to the professional level, and I like live performances. It's like we go to concerts. I do a few concerts. I'd rather do a play in a lot of ways because it's, and me, it's a lot more coming out, especially with the musical. You got to sing, you got to act, you got to dance. Mm-hmm. You got to be everything all at once in a lot of things. So.
Well, that's awesome. That's good to hear. And I know I've looked into it too. There's so many, and I'm sure this is true all around the country, but I know around here, there's a lot of small independent theater groups.
Yeah, I do those too. Out in Chelsea, there's the Purple Rose Theater, started by Jeff Daniels, the movie actor. He's done a lot of stage work. We also have been out to Dexter.
Was he dumb or was he dumber?
I believe he was dumber.
He was dumber?
And he was scared of spiders. We've seen him actually. I've taken Mom to see him live. He does he plays a guitar and sings songs he's wrote.
Yeah, he owns it, but he's also very involved with that and a lot in that community.
Yeah, well, he grew up in Chelsea, Michigan, and he raised his kids there. They're all grown now.
Cool.
But he started the Purple Rose Theater, and I won't say he really owns it. He set it up as basically like a nonprofit, and they do several productions a year, and they bring in top talent from all over. They have people that are from like University of Michigan that come in, of course, then people from New York that come in. They did one, I didn't see it, but they had a guy that used to star in a show from the 70s called Emergency, and and he came in and did a run.
I used to love that show.
I did too.
Yeah, that was
those firefighters, and you're a kid, you're like, hey, action adventure, red lights.
Yeah, and back then, you know, the shows aren't as realistic as they are today. So they, you know, it had a little bit of campy to it.
And that's what made them fun, and that's why I don't like the current movie remakes that try to be campy. Like, no, the shows themselves are campy enough. You're not doing them any justice in that, so I don't watch a lot of those remakes. But
awesome.
So there's a lot of great theaters around Michigan that are local independents and different ways. So, and wherever you live at, there's tons everywhere. I see them listed. And if you're in the musical place, go support the arts. It's kind of along the lines of what we do that we're going to talk about today is supporting artists and arts in different ways.
Exactly.
And you do it by spending money. So. But Ashley, the Comic-Con kid, she graduated this weekend.
Yes. Dominic's laughing over there. Brett's giving everyone titles now. The Comic-Con kid.
That's Dominic, the Comic-Con Dominic. Well, she's going with you this weekend, and we're going to talk about it too. Let's talk about her graduation. I saw some great pictures. And
so this last weekend was the official graduation ceremony for the high school she goes to, and you know, it was nice. It's an accomplishment. You know, you spend 12 years of your life going through the system and trying to make your way through, and it's really nice that everything happened. I do laugh, you know, the more negative side of me. I never understood this about.
Scott has a negative side.
I never understood this about high school graduations. I didn't understand it back when I was there either. It was all the people are like, "Oh, this was the best days of my life, and life will never be better." And I'm just sitting going, "Shoot me then!"
I couldn't wait to get out of there.
I couldn't wait, and even to this day, people I know when we talk. Nobody's like, oh, if only I could be in high school again. We're all glad we're gone. And all these kids are giving these speeches about how, you know, oh, this was so awesome being here. And I'm like, who are you? but I digress. But it is a good accomplishment, and I'm very proud of her. And, you know, getting through there, and now it's moving on to the college years.
Yep.
So. She, as of right now, you know, people change their plans through their college life, but the rough plan is she wants to become an ultrasound tech, sonography, and so she's going to go to school for a couple years to take it's a program you have to apply for, so she's got a list of classes she has to take.
You have to take all the prerequisites to get in.
Correct, and then once you get those, and as long as you maintain a B or higher in all the classes, you then apply for the program, and they only take so many people per year.
Right.
So that's the plan, though. And I have a friend who does ultrasounds, and she allowed Ashley to go with her and shadow her at work one time. So Ashley got to actually see a real working environment for it. And
I think it's a good way to do it. I think people should do that more often. I one time thought about being a teacher, and I went a couple times, and it's something I think I probably could have done, but it really wasn't what I was interested in.
Well, and I think that goes along with why people change their major so often in college is you have an idea of what you want, and then you actually take some courses in that field, or you get some hands-on training somewhere, and you realize, oh, that's not what I thought it was.
Right.
So this allowed Ashley to see a real working environment, and she enjoyed it.
Oh, good. And
so it helped give her some resolve that, this is what I want to go for. So we'll see how it goes, you know, time will tell, but that's the plan right now. So.
Oh, good. Well, we wish her luck on that, and I hope that everything works out for her. And really glad she graduated. I did bring her some mac and cheese and some pulled pork last week for her.
Oh, yes. Talking about your mac and cheese and that, Brett loves to cook, and you have your own smoker out in your patio?
Actually, I got two now.
And they're fairly large too, aren't they?
Well, they're chest size. I mean, they go about 3-4 feet high, and they hold a fair amount of food in them. And you can do quite a bit with it. They're electric. I'm not getting into some of the bigger smokers you see out there, like the big barrel size, things like that, just because of space. I don't have the space.
So when you say electric, so you're not actually putting like the mesquite wood into it to get the mesquite flavor?
Oh, no, you do to it.
Oh, you do?
But the power to heat it up is electric versus using propane or actually lighting the wood on fire.
So there's not an actual flame in there?
No, it heats up in a tinderbox, and the tinderbox will slowly burn the wood to release the smoke. You have to soak your wood ahead of time before you do that.
Okay.
If you don't, then it's not going to work right. It's not going to get the smoke you need in that. So you soak the wood, you put it in, you set all your food in there, and it's kind of, we joke about Ronco, so it's kind of a set and forget it.
Right.
I'm doing catering my cousin's kid's graduation party on Saturday. Shane Jordan graduated his high school, and
oh, cool.
looking forward to being there. But I'm going to smoke a bunch of pork. I do pork shoulder, and I'll do a nice 14, 15-hour smoke on those. Low and slow is the key on anything barbecue smoking.
Now, going that long, have you ever put something in and just forgot about it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because I can smell it everywhere, and it smells awesome, and that stuff. And I'll look outside. You can't open it. I don't open it up until I'm ready to take it out.
Right.
You don't want the smoke running out.
Right. Because then you're losing flavor.
Right. Because smoke is flavor, and you want that infused into the meat or into the mac and cheese when I make the smoked mac and cheese.
Yep. Which Brett graciously gave us some smoked mac and cheese.
Well, let me clarify. I gave that to Ashley, and she was kind enough to share it with you.
I may have had some of it. But and also you gave us smoked pork.
Yes.
And so we had the mac and cheese this last weekend.
Yep.
We loved it. Ate it all up between me and Ashley, so it was delicious.
There's never enough. I'm doing extra for this weekend. I'm sure.
Well, no, I'll say now. Before I met you, I never even thought of smoking mac and cheese. Is this a common thing, or is this your own thing?
I first learned about it from the guys that create the smoker I use, Masterville, and I saw them on TV on QVC, and he says, "Oh yeah, you got to smoke mac and cheese." I was like, "Really?" And I just got the first one. So first thing I did with the smoker was bought some mac and cheese, threw it in the smoker. 3 hours later, it was smoked.
Mac and cheese, I mean, got a thick consistency. How does it absorb? I mean, do you have to stir it up every now and then to make sure the smoke is getting through it?
Actually, it's really easy. You can go buy whatever frozen mac and cheese you like. You can make your own fresh if you like it. You can do that too. For time, a lot of times I use the frozen because what I'm doing is infusing the flavor into it as it cooks. So I'm putting it into the smoker frozen. About 3 hours later, it's fully cooked like you would do in your oven, and it's also got the smoke flavor all through it. It gets a nice brown top to it with the smoke, and after that, I like to mix it up from there and let it sit. So it's still gonna be, it's not hasn't gelled up and thickened up in that, but it will after a few hours, and that's when it's even better. And really, it's even better the next day, which has to sit and really soak in that flavor.
And then I mentioned the smoked pork. We haven't had that yet. I thought it out yesterday, and actually after the show today, when I get home, I'm going to be throwing it in the crock pot.
Okay.
I'm going to throw some barbecue sauce in there. So because the pulled pork you made for us, it's just plain.
Right.
It's got seasoning.
Yeah, I do a rub on all the meats I smoke, and what that does is, one, adds a little flavor. Two, it seals it in and creates a crust on it, so it keeps the juices in it. So.
And Alan Tong chimed in on our live feed that we're making him hungry with all this talk.
Well, I had a little breakfast just a while ago, and I'm starting to make myself hungry. So.
So we're going to put it in the slow cooker, and that's the way to go. That would be a good way to go.
That's a good way to do it. I do it.
Reheat it?
You can reheat it that way, so you can just have it sitting there slowly heating. You throw your sauce on it if you know you want the entire thing sauced, and just mix it up, and every once in a while give it a good stir. And that'll slowly heat it back up and keep some of the juiciness to it. Sometimes I'll throw it into a skillet after it's thawed, and then I'll break it up a little more that way, and either put barbecue sauce on it, or what I like to do also is take taco seasoning and put it on there and make pork tacos with it.
Very cool.
And you can use it for nachos, tacos, things like that. So.
Now, with how good this cooking is, do you ever bring this to your chiropractor, Loringer? And
actually, I have. I brought Dr. Anna and them the smoked mac and cheese a couple of times. I did some for Thanksgiving, I think it was.
Oh, see?
Yeah, so I brought it to her the day before, and so they could have it for Thanksgiving. She hid it. She's like, I don't even want to share with the family. But they love that. But, Lawrence's is awesome, and as people know, I go there. They're one of our sponsors. They're also kind of like family to me, so I'm really honored that they wanted to help sponsor the show. And before I get into their little ad read here, we announced the giveaway for the massage thing. We're going to relaunch that on July 5th. We had some technical difficulties and things didn't get put up right and didn't realize it. So now we're going to relaunch the giveaway on July 5th and the giveaway on July 12th. So you want to listen to the July 5th episode. We'll remind you next week about that. But Larger Family Chiropractic, like I said, they do take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient, not just me. They like everybody. And they have on-site digital x-rays, they do massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young living essential oils, aromatherapy. They offer a full line of vitamins. With that in mind, they gave me a sample of something to try. I had hurt my back a little bit last week after the show, and we got adjusted on Friday, and she gave me some vitamins that actually helped as a natural muscle relaxer, and that really helped reorient what was going on, because I couldn't pull the muscle. And that. But give them a call, 734-697-4244. They have 2 locations, one in Belleville, Michigan, the other one in Dexter, Michigan. If you're nowhere near those, give them a call and find out a chiropractor near you they can recommend. They know people all over the country.
Definitely.
And you can visit them at LoringerFamilyChiropractic.com, and we do have a link on oddmusings.com to make it easy for you. So check out Loringer Family Chiropractic.
Yeah, and thank you for your sponsorship, Loringer. We appreciate it, and we really appreciate it if you listeners check them out.
Yep, definitely. And like I said, the massages are awesome. They got a great massage thing. As a slight segue, I ran into Stacy yesterday, who used to work for them as a massage therapist. She left on good terms. She had another opportunity outside of that field, and so I did talk to her about that. And it's nice to see that even when people that used to work there have left, they still think very highly of this place. So definitely Orange Family Chiropractic.
And those massages probably come in really well after a long weekend of a Comic-Con.
Oh, I've done a few of those.
When as we segue into our life as artists, I'll tell you one thing: you feel beat up sometimes after these shows.
And we've got a big travel coming up. Fortunately, we're flying. I still expect to be a little rough, but it's not as hard as some of the driving shows we've done. Mm-hmm. But for those that know Scott and I, and if you don't, we travel all over the country. We attend Comic-Cons, so once I'll do other appearances. This is part of our livelihood. And,
there's a lot of misconceptions about what it takes to be an artist, whether it's in general, or even at Comic-Cons. A lot of fans think we just arrive and everything's provided free and we just somehow appear. But there's a lot to it, and there's many hats you have to wear as an artist to operate, because we are, what a lot of people don't think about is, we are fully independent businesses, each of us. And we also have hobbyists in the industry who are only doing it just for the fun of it. But for the most part, a lot of us, we are the professional full-time artists who, and we don't have staff, we don't have people, so we have to be our own travel agents, our own accountants, our own stock and inventory personnel.
Well, and these are things I know we're going to cover today, but we're going to go in depth in future episodes. We're going to do a travel episode about how
some of your tips. Brett is one of the reasons I love traveling with Brett, besides his amazing personality, is which actually he does have a great personality, but he's a guru when it comes to planning. He has points reward systems with all these different places, and he has apps to find the best prices. So that would be a great future segment too to get into. But as an artist, those are all things you need to know for minimizing your expenses.
Well, I mean, you have to. I mean, everything about what we do is about the bottom line in terms of our profit. You know, it costs us X amount of dollars to be somewhere, X amount of dollars to travel, X amount of dollars for our product.
Yep.
And what it comes down to is, after we get all done with those X's, X to the third, what it's got to equal out to is, what is our, X, Y, Z at the end.
Right, and that also applies not to Comic-Cons only, but also when we're at home and we're either doing commissions or we're working for professional companies. A big mistake a lot of artists will make is, I hear this so often on the road, and is a lot of artists, we talk behind the scenes with each other, and it's like, oh, well, how did you do? And a common answer is, well, I made table, so it is good. It's like, no, that's not good.
No, that's
table is a portion of a much larger picture.
And that's what I think even a lot of fans don't understand, is how much it costs for us to be at these shows. And typically at any show is, if you want to know how much we're spending to be there, and this is a very minimum, usually it's a lot more, take whatever it costs for you to walk in the door as a fan and times it by at least 10, and that's typically what it costs us just to be at the show, not including our travel, not including our food, just the cost of the show itself for us is typically what we're spending. So the cost is a big factor, and while there are those that they just want to make back their initial table investment. So if they spent $300 for a table, which is not an uncommon price in this industry,
Correct.
if they sell $300 for stuff for a weekend, they feel they've done well. Where guys like Scott and I, this is how we do our living, and $300 is we need to make that day one to get back that cost, as well as get the cost of our hotel, our gas, our food.
Right. I mean, shows range in size, so they can be anything from a $200 total investment for some small local show, and that's when or I've had shows where I've had to make $1,500 just to break even.
Right.
Where you're getting into, you got flight, you got hotels. A show like I got San Diego coming up.
Right.
That's a 5-day show, which means I'm actually going to be there for 6 days. That's a lot of hotel time, a lot of food, a lot of airport flights. All these things wrap up together to a final cost.
Yeah.
And
and that's what helps too with
out.
a lot of that cost too is when you have the ability to travel with somebody in terms of sharing hotel expenses. If you're driving, sharing the gas, things like that. That helps reduce your investment into what you're doing. Right. And increase your profit. And that's definitely, like I said, we're going to do a future episode on everything I do in terms of what I look at.
You're right.
And stuff like that. But it's one of the things we have to look at every time is, okay, well, we're going to be traveling the show. How much is it going to cost me to get there? How much time do I need? Because as an example, when we do the Tampa Bay show next month, Scott's going to be flying in from San Diego because it's the next week. I'll already be down there.
Right.
So I'm factoring in my travel time, my travel costs of getting there. Right. As well as when we're there, what I need. Fortunately, I'm staying with my sister most of it, so I don't have to worry about a lot of hotel.
Right.
But it's also what it is those costs that are associated with it.
Oh yeah, and I think a big factor a lot of people leave out in their calculations is when all is said and done, even once you break even, you still have to make so much money to be worth your time because we have bills to pay at home. Yeah. I gotta pay, I got a car to pay for.
And that's the thing. When you mentioned like $1,500 for a show, if you do, people are like, oh, if you do $1,500 in 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. That's a lot of money. Well, yes and no. At that point, you're not making any money. What you need to do is at least twice that, sometimes even 3 times to really make it worth your while. Because if you can sit at home and sell $1,500 worth of commissions or $1,500 worth of freelance work over that same time period,
right,
you didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah, those are professional jobs I can't get done,
right,
because I'm out on the road or something.
And we see that with other the professionals that do a lot more work within the industry, within like Marvel, DC, and other types of publishers like that. They will cancel some shows saying, well, I can't come out because I have a deadline.
Yeah.
And that's where and the reason is the show for us right now is a primary source of income. For some guys, it's a secondary source, but even that, they still treat it as, a business. They run it as a business.
Right. And talking about running it as a business, even at home, when we do work from home, there's a lot of common misconceptions about working from home. People will be like, oh, you're so lucky, you can do whatever you want, wake up whenever, but I think in many ways it's harder to work from home.
It's a lot harder, and the thing is, you have to be more dedicated. You have to be more on top of what you're doing. And I can get lazy, trust me. You sit there and it's like, oh, you know what? I really want to catch up on this show, and I got on DVD. I got 12 episodes. I'll just put it on while I'm drawing, and I'm sitting there. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Oh, I guess I drew a circle.
Yeah, I have to be very selective in what I watch while I draw. For me, like Star Wars is a great one to put on. I've seen it; it's in my blood. I don't need to watch it. I just hear it in the background. Right. I know what's going on, so I don't have to watch the screen. I can focus on what I'm doing. But there are some movies where I put on, and all of a sudden you kind of get sucked in.
Yeah, I try. If it's a movie I really want to watch, I never put it on while I'm working. Yeah. When I'm drawing it, when I'm writing, I never put on anything when I'm writing, other than I may put on some type of music. But most of the time, because when I'm writing, I'm creating something. I don't want to have any influences from what I'm watching or what someone's saying. So, like the music, a lot of times I listen to music that's not got a lot going on in terms of songwriting and stuff like that, nor classical even. It varies.
Correct.
And that, or I just put on my headphones. There's nothing going on, but I just want the quiet because it's all in my head anyways.
And it actually, and the discipline it requires when you work from home is a lot because it's very easy to get sucked into the chores of the day. Where it's like, well, I got to go food shopping. I got to do this. I got to do that. And next thing you know, the day's gone and you barely got anything done.
Yeah.
So you've got to really be strict with your own time and hold yourself accountable to get it done. But also with working from home, like a common question I get, and a couple people ask this question online, and if you have any questions, go onto our Facebook stream, go ahead and type them into the thread there, and we'll be answering questions as we go. Well, a common question I get is, how long does it take me typically for a piece?
Yeah, and actually I see that, just so I can point out, that's my Aunt Sherry down there in Florida listening to us. Hi, Aunt Sherry. Love you.
Yep, and Alan also asked the question.
And she puts it as cells, because a lot of my artwork's been compared to animation cells, and that's how I used to do them. Just to kind of jump in there, the amount of time it takes is how long it takes. There is no exact time. I know, as I point out, I have one of my pictures is of the ship Serenity I saw at the Comic-Cons. And I tell people, I said, I don't know the exact amount of time, I just know to get the rough pencils down, just to get it to where I liked it, was like 6 hours.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm very purposeful on my time.
Yeah, you push a lot, you're pushing to get yourself a lot faster, or I'm just pushing myself to try to get better.
Yeah, for me, the way I look at it is time is money,
Yep.
and I budget myself. So especially, like, same with commissions. This is a common mistake a lot of artists make. Someone will be like, I want to commission you for this. As an artist, you need to know how long it takes you to do different amounts of work in your piece, because you don't want to quote something and say $100 to do something, a drawing, and then spend 20 hours on it.
Right.
Because you're making next to nothing.
And I agree with that. And when it comes to commissions, I try to budget my time and not dawdle on it and get to the point with it.
Yeah. So for me, over the years, I've paid attention to how long it takes me to do different things. I have a very good idea of what it'll take time-wise, and for my commissions, I base it on a $50 per hour rate, and that's what I work towards.
Yeah.
And
I think it's a fair, and a lot of people may say, "Wow, it's like there's a lot going into it. It's a very creative process, and $50 covers the tools we're using."
Oh yeah,
and it comes from everything from actual pencils, inks, and colors to electricity.
To my computer. I mean, my tablet alone is a $2,500 tablet to draw on when I'm doing my digital art, or the markers. I have thousands of dollars worth of markers to do my marker work. All of these are expenses that add up. Not to mention, you're paying for my expertise.
Right.
If you want it, you can go cheaper. Go to someone else. I'm firm with my price. A lot of artists, though, are very insecure with giving a price and sticking to it.
Yeah.
And you can't be. You know your own worth, know what your time is worth, because I have no interest in drawing something for someone for $5 an hour.
No, and that's the thing you have to, and even with commission with being, I typically start at $50 also, goes up from there. I don't always calculate how many time, I base it on the amount of characters they want.
Right.
I like commissions I do are single character, maybe 2, and for $50 I can I know it's gonna take me maybe an hour to really crank that out.
Yeah.
And if I do any quick changes, I can do that too. So I also like the fact that if it's something I can turn into a print that I can resell later.
Right.
If it's something that's more unique, my price goes up because I can never reuse it again. So that's what changes that.
That's a great point too, is when working with somebody, if it's a piece that I know I cannot use again, whether by their choice or I know it's something that generally just won't sell, I'm gonna charge higher.
Yeah.
But if I can work out a deal with them where they're willing to let me make copies of this artwork and share, I'm going to give them a discounted price because I can continue to make money off of that piece in other ways.
Right.
So yeah, there's definitely that.
Well, and I've done that quite a bit actually.
Yeah.
That's actually how one of the series I saw at the shows is based on Schoolhouse Rock, and every commission I did of those was all kept fairly low, knowing that I can add it right to my catalog, and I've more than made the money on that.
Yeah, so for me, just to answer the question, generally speaking, for like if I'm doing a portrait type piece that's a headshot, typically it's about 5-6 hours is my usual range for just a standard, bust shot of a character. Right. And then it goes on, now if I'm going like my Stranger Things piece, that one I've got like 12 characters in it or 10 characters. That's a lot of portraits to do.
Right.
So that piece, I'm in around the 30 to 35 hour range. Now in that, I wasn't timing it, like you said, like it does. There is a portion where I wasn't doing that as a commission.
Right.
And a lot of times as artists, I don't know about you, but I know for me, if I'm working on a big piece like that, mentally it drains me. So I will take breaks and go on to another piece that I'm working on, and then I'll go back to it.
I have different ones like that. So a couple of my recent ones I did was, I did one of Jack Skellington, the Santa Claus, I did a Bob's Burgers, and I put them both aside, came back to it. I'm in the middle of another series based on Laugh Olympics. I got a third of it done, but it's taken me a while, so I had to step away, because it was feeling like I was getting away from the feel of it, so I had to step away so I can come back into it.
Yeah, I think one of the big misconceptions about being an artist is people are like, oh, you're just sitting there all day. And they don't realize the mental drain. Like Comic-Cons too, when you're doing drawings at shows, you are so mentally drained by the end when you're just focused drawing like that.
That's why I always have trouble drawing. I will draw at shows sometimes. And if I'm doing a lot of drawing at shows, it means it's slow, and that's not good either.
Right.
But I'll sit, and what I started doing this past year mainly was doing some sketch covers, getting a hold of blank sketch covers that we can buy, and drawing on those. And I like to do those pretty much just in pencil. I don't get into the inks with them too much or colors. And I like to do the rough pencil, keep it truly a sketch. Other people go more in the colors. I know you've done some great ones with some of the grayscale markers, different things you do, and they always come out really awesome.
Well, thank you.
And I know you're going to have some with you this weekend in Heroes, so definitely check them out there if you get a chance. But the thing is, drawing at the show is you've already done the work. You're here to present your work, and my thing is I want to talk to everybody that's coming by to introduce not just my artwork, but introduce all the comic books I do, graphic novels, stuff like that, and talk about it. If I'm sitting there drawing, well, that's a concentrated effort.
It is.
And it takes away from what I'm doing. If I was just there to draw, that's one thing. You can have a list, and people can just sit there and wait for you to be done with their piece. You're going to charge a lot more.
I just want to say one thing, too.
Yes, sir.
I don't, when you're at a Comic-Con, people have come up to me and asked me, like, are you going to be here Sunday? Are you going to be here Saturday? And I would think about it. I'm like, what the hell? Why are they asking me this?
Yeah.
And they're associating me, because I'm at a table, I'm at the show with the celebrities who are paid to be there.
Yeah.
They're not paying for their table and their hotel room and everything. So they think, and rightfully so, I mean, it's association.
Right.
But that I'm also not paying for my table and my hotel, and okay, so I can freely go ahead and just wheel and deal with this guy for half off of what he's selling it for. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's a great point.
Yeah.
I get that question a lot.
Well, it's Connie the Comic-Con posted. Some people think that we're there as like we all travel together. We're like a traveling circus, like Comic-Con artists. So when people do ask us those questions, I mean, I think they're valid questions.
Yeah.
Sometimes their intent isn't valid, but.
Right. I could go on for hours about what you guys are talking about right now. Just whine my face off, but I'm going to stop.
well, and Dominic,
we'll
Dominic
do a special
has,
episode and talk about that, and Dominic can pay for the entire episode. We'll go on for hours.
But just like Brett and I, Dominic has a lot of experience on the road. He does tons of shows also, just like us. And just to give a shout out to Dominic, you can go to his, what's your websites and stuff so people can find out your Comic-Con schedule?
Messbucketcomics.com, like MESS, make a mess, bucketcomics.com, or on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Now, I heard recently, though, you were acquired by Lucasfilm and you're Misa Comics now?
Misa Bucket.
Yeah, when I was at Phoenix, they put Mesa Bucket Comics on the side instead of Mess Bucket Comics. They assumed I was from Mesa, and then somebody goes, maybe they thought you looked like Jar Jar Binks. So now I'm Mesa Bucket Comics.
Next thing you know, George Lucas is knocking on your door saying, "I own you."
Yeah.
he's in Big Doo-Doo.
Yep, that's me in Big Doo-Doo.
Yeah, but we talk about with just traveling for shows, in Phoenix, other stuff. A lot of people don't realize what we go on to. They're like, man, you get to go to Vegas, you get to go to Denver, which we're doing this month, and yes, we've built in extra times, which is rare for us. So we actually get to enjoy the towns. But most of the time, our travel is we're at home working on projects, getting everything ready. A lot of times, I print up my own stuff, so I have to print that stuff up and get that ready too. So there's a lot of prep work, and even just packing everything together is a lot of prep. But then we travel, and people go, man, what's a great city and everything. So you know what? I see a lot of cities as I'm driving through them. Most of the time, what do I see? I see blacktop, I see trees, sometimes I see clouds, sometimes I see rain, I see sun, once in a while stars.
Yeah, it's traveling, because when the average person travels, it's for vacation.
Right.
They're there for fun. This is our work.
Yeah, these are work travels, so while we may have some fun here and there, or we do have fun, and don't get me wrong on this.
Oh, yeah.
But we put in a lot of work.
But it's also working hard.
Yeah.
And you can have fun while you work, but we are working hard.
Yeah, we spend, as Mom likes to point out, we spend from 12 to 14 hours sometimes in the convention center every day.
Yeah.
Doing what we do.
And then throw in, depending on the show, 6 to 12 hours of driving there, 6 to 12 hours back at the end of it. So, we usually put in 60 hours over the course of a weekend.
Yeah.
And it's hard work. And in part of the equation we talked about earlier, where, we're as businesses, we are trying to maximize our income through the sales.
Right.
But while minimizing our expenses. Well, when we go to all these places, it costs a lot of money to do all the fun stuff. So we try to keep our costs down.
Right.
Not to mention we're just physically exhausted.
Well, and that's part of it too, is we're tired and that, but sometimes it's great, like once in a while when we get down to Florida, we have opportunities to do things like Universal Studios or things like that. And Scott and I did that a couple times now.
Yeah, 2015 for Mini MegaCon
Yeah.
was my first time going to Universal. That was me and you.
Yeah.
And then when we were back in the following, in 2016 for the large MegaCon,
Yeah.
my daughter came with us and we were able to go there again.
Yeah, and I want a quick shout out to my friend Gracie, who has moved on to Boston, is doing fantastic up there.
She's in Boston?
Yeah, she's working for a couple companies up there now, and living with her friend Amy. They're having a great
Very
time
cool.
up there. I
Very
think doing well.
Gracie's awesome.
She hooked us up one time, and then my other friend Jojo
Jojo.
was able to give us a couple passes before, since they worked for Universal Studios at the time. Jojo's still there. Good to see Jojo next month.
Yep.
We'll get down there. And
Yeah,
visit her,
and
so.
just to let people know, for end of July is Tampa Bay?
Yes.
And so while we are down for the Tampa Bay Comic-Con, we are going to be stopping at Universal, and we're going to be doing some streaming from there from our.
Yeah, we'll do some,
we're going to do some YouTube videos, and we're going to try to do our show live from Universal Studios also.
Yeah, through these call-in Skype line, so we'll have it set up
Yeah,
for
so we're hoping
one
to do
phone
that.
for Facebook Live, and one phone for the Skype, and
Yeah.
we'll see how that works. So it may be kind of interesting. So
It'll be our first attempt at that. So
it'll be fun. We're gonna either station ourselves at Universal or at Disney Springs. We haven't
Yeah.
decided yet. But that's one of the few times we get to really have a lot of fun. Majority of our travels is car to hotel, hotel to car.
Now, what I can tell you won't be happening from Universal Studios is me on the roller coaster.
Oh, I got him on Green Guys.
This man here. See, when we travel together, trust is an important element of the traveling. You're staying with these people. You're private.
It took me years of building this amount of trust.
You did, only to throw it all away.
Now, with that, Scott is a Harry Potter fan. I know you
Yes.
can't miss that.
Yeah.
And we get on there, and he's like, "I don't like roller coasters. I don't like big drops.
I don't do roller coasters.
And we got in there, and it takes off. I said, "Well, there is one big drop at the beginning." He goes, "No, you're lying." I said, "Yeah, I am. No, I'm not."
Yeah, so we get on. It's the Gringotts
It's
ride.
Gringotts
So
ride,
it's
yeah.
like a mine cart.
Right.
In the movie, you have the mine ride that they go through to get down to the vaults, and they're simulating this. And Brett's like, "Oh, don't worry." He's like, there's just this little drop. I'm like, okay, I can handle that. Then, soon as
Those on Facebook Live, this is the cart that moves around just like this and gets to this first stopping point. And then it goes like this.
yeah, the lift
Almost completely vertical.
So soon as the arm bars come down and lock us in position is when Brett reveals he lied. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you're kidding. Oh, no. And then he goes, yeah, I am kidding. No, I'm not. And then just as he says that, the back end of the cart lifts up, and we're at like, I don't know, probably a 70.
It's almost a 90 degree
60,
angle.
70 degree angle where I'm just like, oh, no. And boom, off we go. Thankfully, that was the only bad part.
That was the only. It's
only
the
bad
initial drop.
The rest, I
Now
enjoyed
he's
the rest.
cursing me the entire time.
Not the entire time.
Oh yeah, you are.
The rest, I didn't mind the rest
But
of
after
the ride.
that, the rest of it was really good.
Yeah.
I give that to him. So I told myself I won't mess with you again. I had to do it that one time because he had to get on that ride.
Well, he had to do it the one time. Until
I rode the Mummy after that, and I told you, I was completely honest up front. I said there is big drops that drive you backwards, something like that. So.
Yes, you were honest on that one. But we get on the Cat in the Hat ride.
Oh, this was great.
This one, I look at it and I'm like, there's no way this one's scary.
Oh yeah,
I can do this one.
It tells the Cat in the Hat story from the Dr.
Right.
Seuss book. So we get onto it, and the little tiny lap bar comes down. It goes around the corner. I said, "There's a big drop at the beginning."
And I look at him like, no.
I said, "Yeah,"
and there wasn't.
No, it spun around. He was fine with that.
Spinning rides I can do. Like I love
and you like the
rides
3D rides.
The 3D rides are great. Minions were awesome.
Yeah.
I love the Minions. The Transformers and the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man were fun, but I like the Minions more.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward when we get down there next month because we're going to go for a day, and they got the new Tonight Show ride, and it's supposed to be very similar in terms of setup to like the Minion rides. I think you're going to enjoy that one too. Now, not lying.
It's called the Tonight Show, right?
But yeah, it's with who hosts the Tonight Show? Jimmy Fallon. It's a Jimmy Fallon ride. It's Race Through New York. So it's like you're racing through New York to get to the studio.
And what is he like?
He's driving the car.
He's driving the car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the cool thing is, what I'm seeing online is the queue is supposed to be like the best part of the ride. Because you walk through like a recreation of this Tonight Show, so there's a lot of props. Okay. And they even have set up the singers that I guess he's got on the show, and then the panda.
Well, and they kind of do that with the Minions have a pre-show type thing before you get in, and Men in Black ride. I really enjoy Men in Black. Yeah. That's a fun ride. You got guns on the little cart that you're on, and you're actually competing against other carts, and you're all
shooting aliens. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. So I love going there, and then just I forget the exact name, but the Harry Potter world. What do they call it?
Well, it's the Wizarding World. Is what they call it. And
when I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm a big Harry Potter fan, but I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And when the first time we walked into Hogwarts there, or the land,
probably Diagon Alley.
Diagon Alley,
yeah.
I'm like I said, Brett, if I am feeling this way about Harry Potter World, I can't imagine what was going to happen when I go to the new Star Wars land in Disney when they open that.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to have to work on. I think we have to try to get Disney to sponsor us to come in and do our podcast from the Star Wars land.
Honestly, if I go, I might not come back. I might have to. I'm going to sneak my Stormtrooper armor in there.
Scott lives here.
And I'll just stand like a prop somewhere so no one knows I'm there, and wait till they close the park.
And then hide in the Millennium Falcon.
And then one day they'll find me, and I'll look like Tom Hanks on Castaway because I haven't left for so long.
You'd be a feral stormtrooper.
I'll be like a 5-year-old holding onto the landing gear of the Millennium Falcon as they try to pull me away. And I'm like, I don't want to go. But that is some of the fun parts of traveling.
And the beauty of having a good pal to travel with like this is to be able to do these things and have a little fun.
And in doing these shows for so long, we have developed a network of people through. We have a big part of Comic-Cons is the networking with each other, with our peers, with
and it comes
publishers,
all different things. So it's people within our industry, people that are outside that enjoy what we do, we enjoy what they do.
Right, and it's allowed opportunities to develop, both for fun, which is what happened with Universal, but also then professionally, and that's where me and you met through Comic-Cons. That's where we first met.
Yeah.
And we started traveling together to help save costs.
Right. And we met in Chicago. It was the first time we met at the local Carbon Comic Show, and they fortunately placed you next to me.
Yep. And then
we kind of became friends from there. Started chatting when we saw each other, and a couple times you stayed with us on a few travels.
And even this whole show, because I met Dominic through Indiana Comic Con 2 years ago.
Okay.
And that's when we first met. And he for some reason, he thought I was like a cool guy and invited me to be on.
And now you've learned differently.
I was drunk.
But, and with Dominic, he had Motown Mojo Live, and he still does, which that's another show you can tune into on the Echo Network, Mondays, 7 to 9 p.m. I was co-host for him a bunch of times on there. I started off as a guest, and once again, and he must have been drunk again because he invited me back to be as a co-host.
Yeah.
And then that's developed into, then we moved over here to where he started the Echo Network with Jay, and then now here we are with Odd Musings.
Yeah.
But it was all through networking.
Right.
And that's what the cool thing is when you do all that.
Yeah.
You never know. And there's a lot of artists, and to each their own. Some artists like to stay in their little group.
Right.
And they're traveling companions and everything else, but they never venture outside of their group. Like me and you, we travel a lot together. But at shows, we like to have our tables separate.
Yes.
Because we want to have the time for each of us to network and meet new people. If we're always together, you're never going to find those new opportunities.
And now I like that. So you can even look at setup for Vegas. Denver, we're going to be next to each other because that's the way the table is set up already. But for Vegas, we're not anywhere near each other. We're on opposite ends of the show.
Right.
And I checked out who my neighbors are. I messaged one of them already, so I got to say, hey, I'm next year in Vegas and have a great time, and they're looking forward to that too. But it's also like I said, talking about this is how we meet a lot of cool people. That's how we met one of our sponsors, T-24, was at Comic-Cons.
Right.
And just to talk about them real quick, because they've been sponsoring like if you've not been to T-24.com, you need to go there. It's TEEMINUS24.com. They create the unique pop culture T-shirts that we wear at the shows, like Scott's wearing today. They also do some great vinyl decals. And at T-24.com, you're going to find over 140 graphic tees. Like the Potter Weasley one I bought there is not available at the shows, but they have it online, so it's a great one to have. As well as hundreds of vinyl decals based on movies, TV shows, comic books, and video games, and pretty much just about any fandom you want. So, and debuting tonight, this is a special announcement for them, is a new design. They collaborated with Odd Musings' own Scott Zambelli and T-24. It's the Many Moods of Groot.
Yes, it's a fun shirt. I'm excited for this shirt to be coming out. I drew up the designs, and it's Baby Groot from Guardians 2 and all his various expressions. So
Yeah.
you'll have to check that out at
I saw the mock-up for that. It looked really cool.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you saw it.
I think it's going to be an awesome shirt for people to have, and a great add to their site.
Definitely. I highly recommend it. The artist for it was amazing.
Yeah. As much as a jerk that he can be, it's mainly his beard.
Exactly.
So, as people know, you got to go to T-24.com, and you get to use the coupon code ODD, and you're going to get 10% off buying the Groot shirt or any shirt or decal, and it's going to be shipped to you free of charge. They do not charge additional shipping on that.
And if you wear the shirt at a Comic-Con I'm at, I'll sign your shirt for you.
There you go. And of course, don't forget to follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where they're under T-24, and they are going to be, want to let you guys know, they're going to be in Washington, D.C. this weekend. No, they're not doing a congressional hearing. They're going to be at AwesomeCon. Set up all weekend selling their T-shirts and vinyl decals. So go to AwesomeCon in D.C. if you're in the Washington, D.C. greater area from Baltimore, Virginia, and other places. And buy some T-shirts, buy some vinyls, and tell them that Odd Music sent you, and they won't charge you double.
Very true. So this ties into our next segment of Life as Artists, which ties into our jobs as freelance artists, working, doing work on a per project basis for various companies and licenses, or professional work. For instance, I'm a contracted artist for Lucasfilm through Acme Archives, and then we also have self-publishing that we do also of our own projects. And being a self-promoter is a big part of being an artist. A lot of artists I know, I personally know some where they are just insanely good, but they never leave their house. They don't do shows, they don't self-promote, and they wonder why. They sit there and they'll not complain, that's the wrong word, but they'll ask, like, I don't understand why I'm not getting anywhere. It's like, you're not promoting yourself. You're not getting out
Your biggest
there.
promoter is you.
Correct.
And if you're not willing to talk about yourself and sell yourself, a lot of people tell me, I don't like that. I don't like to sell myself. It sounds cheap. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Everything we do in life is promoting ourselves, and no matter what you do, whether you're doing it for profit or for fun,
right.
You are promoting yourself.
And don't mistake humility for insecurity.
Right.
There's a lot of artists who are very insecure about themselves and about putting their work in front of others. They're afraid of a negative response, or they're afraid of not getting a positive feedback. And you can't be afraid of that.
Yeah.
You put yourself out there. If someone doesn't like your work, it's okay. You move on.
And that's definitely the way to do it. To kind of go back, I noticed there was a comment from my good friend Eric, wanting to know where to put his portfolio out online. I recommend you put that on your own website. That's why I have BrettPinson.com. You have your Art of Scott.
Yeah, back even just 5 years ago, DeviantArt was the place to go. That's where everybody posts their stuff. But honestly, I haven't gotten anything from there in years.
I know people that still use it quite a bit.
Right.
The thing with the DeviantArt is it's a lot of abuse within it.
Yeah.
Verbal abuse for people they want to trash our work.
The anonymous keyboarder
post,
who wants to just insult everything.
But if you just want to have a place to put your portfolio, create a website. You can go through Wix.com and create free ones and have them go to that. You can set stuff up through posting the pictures on a Facebook page and have your
Bless you. Thanks.
And so Eric,
there's so many ways to self-promote.
You can message us through our websites to have questions about that stuff too.
But personally, create a fan page for yourself, for your art, and make that your online portfolio. Do a .com. Get yourself a .com, because that's where you want to create a professional portfolio. You don't want to, one of the mistakes a lot of artists makes is they'll put every piece they ever did out there.
Yeah.
Now your Facebook page can be that. That can be more informal, but your .com needs to be professional. That's where you're sending, if you want a studio to look at you,
Yeah.
you send them to that page. And don't put everything out there. Put your top 10% only.
Right.
Because what will happen is they'll look through 100 images, and that one image that they don't like
And
is
if
what they'll
you're
focus on.
doing comic books and graphic novels, don't put the entire thing up there for the read for free, unless you are really giving it away.
Right.
You put up the first several pages. If it's
Correct.
a 22-page comic book or 32-page, put the first 5 to 10 pages. Don't put too much in there. Leave a cliffhanger if you can, and direct them to where they can purchase it. Because if it's a professional person looking to hire you, they don't need the entire story of what you put there. They need the first few bits to talk to you further.
Yeah, exactly. And some other great ways of self-promotion is YouTube and Facebook Live.
And then getting out in front of actual people.
Yeah.
You got to get off from behind the screens, behind the drawing boards, and meet the people. And that's why we do the Comic Cons.
Yeah, one
Building
example.
the fan base.
One example I've been enjoying watching is our friend Alan Shell.
Yes.
Yeah, he's listening right now, and he does a fun little stream he does where he likes to draw the Saturday morning cartoon characters.
You know, I've gotten to watch a couple when I've been home. I popped on a little bit and saw a little bit of him drawing. And one, I've always dug Alan's stuff. I like his neon work that he does. He does these really cool neon pictures.
Especially lately, he used to have a sketchy style that he did, and he's really tightened it up lately. And this new wave of stuff he's been putting out, I've loved him.
Yeah.
So anybody listening, go over if you Facebook him, look up ALAN Shell SCHELL. Check out Alan's work and buy something from him. He's a great guy.
And he gets out to Comic Cons, not as much as I'd like to see him, but it's always great seeing him. But again,
I thought it was more than we wanted to see him.
I don't know. It's kind of fun when he comes out to get to pick on him a little bit. You know?
Alan is awesome. Check him out. You'll love his work.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the self promotion. You got Facebook. What other ways to promote yourself? Oh, and then we got Kickstarters.
Yes. And we're going to do a whole show on Kickstarter soon. But the thing is with self-publishing, Kickstarter is really becoming the way to go. And you'll be hearing some announcements from us. Scott just finished his up recently. We're working on a project for a future Kickstarter.
We're doing one together where we'll be putting out. We're not ready to announce the topic or release art of it. We're in the beginning stages of some concept art and the beginning writings.
It's going to be unbelievable. That's how good it's going to be. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Without giving too much away, but we're excited about it.
I'm excited to see what this is.
Yeah, I know.
But
like I did a Kickstarter once and I did not go through, and that happens a lot. But I learned from that and realized the mistakes I made and stepped away and started working on some other things to eventually get to this point where we can launch a Kickstarter.
And then finally, just because we're running out of time here, I just want to quickly touch on real quick too on the professional side of things, doing freelance work and working with art directors. A lot of artists get discouraged because they get turned down when they submit their portfolio into some kind of a studio for professional work. Realize this. Art directors are running that project, or they're the ones running that studio. And they will typically have a pool of artists that they are currently working with. And unless there is a current opening, you are an unknown entity. So even if your work is amazing, they don't know if you are going to be on time. They don't know how you are with deadlines. They don't know, a lot of times people will submit a portfolio, and that might represent what they can do with 3 weeks of work on one project, on one image.
Right.
But under the tightness of deadlines, they don't know if you're going to have that same quality there. So you're untested, you're an unknown entity to them. So you'll probably get rejected the first bunch of times. But like, even for me with Acme Archives, it took me 3 years of submitting work before I finally got in. And each time I didn't take it as a rejection, I took it as a challenge to, okay, where can I improve?
Yeah, and that's where I think a lot of people that want to do anything, when they submit, they get rejected, they go, I guess I'm not good enough. No, that's not the point.
Right.
You have to keep trying. And it's just anything you want to do, you have to keep going, whether it's a regular job out in the world or you're doing this freelance work. Keep applying, keep submitting.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're going to get to know who you are because you constantly are submitting stuff within their programs. And then they will contact you and say, look, I haven't got to work, but who are you? Or they contact you, I've got this, how quickly can you get this done?
Yeah, my typical way of getting in has been that their pool of artists they work with, somebody is either overbooked, they're sick, whatever reason, they can't commit. And now that all of a sudden it's like, we have this project that has to get done and we're missing an artist.
Right.
and because I have had my work where I continually submitted it,
Yeah.
I'm one of the ones in front of them at that time. And, it's a combination, what's the quote about luck? It's, luck is created by preparing or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget the exact quote, I'm bad with that. But anyways, the point being, I created my own luck. It
Right.
was an element of luck, but it's because I was consistently doing the process.
Right.
So don't get discouraged if you get rejected.
I mean, realistically with that, luck is luck, but you gotta put the work in.
Right.
Nothing happens if you don't make the work and make the effort. And if you get a rejection, put it on the wall. See how many no's you can
Right.
get before you get that yes. And as I told you in different instances with sales even, over the years when I've done that, shoot for the no. Go for 100 no's. If you get a yes, say, oh great, I gotta start counting all over again. And you go from there.
Yeah.
If you concentrate too much on, I didn't get this or I didn't get that, well guess what? You're gonna miss something better down the road. And there's all those options. We're
Now-
gonna talk more about self-publishing and some of this stuff too
Oh, yeah.
as we go on.
But I can tell you one thing you don't need luck on.
What's that?
That's if you eat at the Chubby Duck.
Ooh, I love chili duck.
The food is going to be awesome every time.
Yes, and we're gonna be bringing Connie, the Comic-Con mom, on with us next month. And
Yeah, I'm
we're gonna
excited
take her
for
down
this.
there and get some fresh chubby duck.
Yeah, so Chubby Duck Detroit would like to introduce Chef Chris Harris.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris. Give a shout out there. Chris has over 8 years of sushi experience.
Okay, he's gonna be working July 5th. I don't care what his schedule is, make him work July 5th around there.
Yep, and his experience is at many fine establishments as the Noble Fish. And so we want to welcome Chris aboard, and we look forward to the new creations that Chris comes up with for Chubby Duck. And
Awesome.
follow him online. Look on Facebook at Chubby Duck Detroit, and they're constantly posting pictures of their newest creations.
Yes, the food, you think I made you hungry earlier? Go online. That'll
Yeah.
make you hungry.
And you can also look up past episodes. We've had Chubby Duck in the studio where we've tested some of their food on air, and it's delicious. It really is, and it's awesome. So go check it out.
And to wrap up here, you're gonna be in Heroes this weekend with Ashley. So definitely if you're down in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, please go see Scott at Heroes.
Yep.
And also, Happy Father's Day.
And get on YouTube, subscribe to our channel because Cars 3 comes out.
Yes,
And
I'll be
Brett's
doing
going to be
those.
seeing that tomorrow evening, and he's going to be posting a movie review of that.
Yep.
So if you have kids who are dying to see Cars 3, check out Brett's review.
Yep.
And and like Brett said, everyone have a happy Father's Day.
Yep. You especially, Scott. And I'll see you next week. And when we get back. And until then, Dominic, run that outro. Thank you, guys.